Get on board, y'all. Love train, people all over the world. Ticket, get on board, y'all. Train, love train, every stop that we made. Love train, people all over the world. Go ahead, start a love train, next stop that we made will be England. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you know that it's time to get on board and let this train keep on riding on through. Also, put your hands together. Join us on this ride. Love train, love train. You don't need no money. Just get on board, y'all. Love train, love train. All of you brothers over in Africa. Tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Please don't miss this train at the station. 'Cause if you miss it, I feel sorry, so sorry for you. You don't need the money, get on board. You don't need a ticket, just get on board. Everybody get on, and let's ride. Let's ride, let's ride, ride. All souls, get on board now. You don't need a ticket, no bags either. No TSA, let's get on board. Feel the love, y'all. Bring the love. Love train, love train. Oh, one train. Don't need no money. Just ride on, ride on. Love train, love train. Ride. Love hands. Start a love train, a love train. Ride.
Join me, everyone, in saying aloud our covenant. Love is the spirit of our people, and service is our call. To build the beloved community, to seek fuller truths in love, to dwell together in peace, to offer aid and affirmation, and to tend to our mutual well-being. This is our covenant. And now, as most of you are standing, please enjoy the blue green hills of Earth. Good morning and happy March. Can you believe we're already in the third month of the year? It feels like we just ushered in the new year, doesn't it? My name is John Matthews. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm proud to be your worship associate today. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Church. We are a congregation bounded by a covenant, at the root of which is love and caring for one another. Reflect on that. What a wonderful concept to have at our cornerstone, love and caring. Where else would you rather be right here, right now? All Souls is a place where you can be your true self, express your true thoughts and feelings, and be more than tolerated for that, but truly embraced. Welcome to this place of love and true community. If you're visiting us for the first time, we are glad you're here. I invite you to visit our welcome table in Pierce Hall after the service to meet some friendly folks who can answer your questions about All Souls. I'm also excited to announce that today is not simply the beginning of the month of March, but also the beginning of our pledge drive. You'll hear much more about that later in our service. I now ask you to turn your attention to this lovely, colorful item you received as you came into the sanctuary, the connection card. The connection card is more than just a place to share your thoughts of the week and of the service. It is our means of staying connected with you and for us to stay connected with each other. The Onondaga people have words that come before all else. This ritual language is a reminder to them that every day, beginning with where our feet first touch the earth, we send greetings and thanks to all members of the natural world. This language is the starting point. Today, as Reverend Anastasio draws upon the wisdoms and teachings of First Nation people, and specifically of Robin Wall Kimmerer, let us start with this practice of respect by using these words of recognition and gratitude to spiritually prepare ourselves for this message. Today, we have gathered, and when we look upon the faces around us, we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and with all living things. So now let us bring our minds together as one as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. I now invite you to greet one another and talk about living in balance and harmony with all living things.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, All Souls. I'm Reverend Anastasia. I use she and her pronouns, and I am one of your ministers. And I'm going to invite my young friends to come forward for our Time for All Ages this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, All Souls, hit the floor. We're happy that you're here today. Hooray, hooray, hooray. So this is our Wonder Box, and it's called that because we like to remind ourselves that we are people of wonder, of awe and curiosity, and we love to bring a spirit of discovery with us. Is there someone who has not yet opened the Wonder Box who would like to do so today? What's your name, friend? Axel. Axel? All right. Can you open up and pull out what's inside? What's that?
Seeds.
Seeds, that's right. And there's even a little scissor to cut them open. So careful with those for now. Seeds, thank you so much. Can you hold them up so people can see? Oh, what color are on those seed packets? Yeah. Yellow and purple, that's right. Now, if you've studied art, these are called complementary colors. They look so beautiful next to each other. And we're going to be planting these today. Axel, can you just take a seat for a moment? You could hold on to those. Can you just take a seat for a moment? So today, as my friend John mentioned, is our pledge drive. And sort of the theme of our pledge drive is inspired by nature. So I thought, I like to live into a metaphor. So friends, let's come closer because this is an interactive Time for All Ages, and it's hard to interact from that distance. So we're going to do some planting because I think planting seeds is a great metaphor for a pledge drive. We put something in soil that has been prepared for us by our ancestors. We put it in, and we nurture it, and we are patient, and we watch over it, and we see it grow. And that's like how all the different ways we contribute to our community. So we have a couple of planters. This represents all the work of our ancestors who created a structure and left good compost for us. And I'm going to invite us, all of you cuties, Axel, may I have the seed packets? To put some seeds in. And we're gonna do the yellow seeds first. So if you would like to do some of the yellow seeds, will you raise your hand and maybe form a little line right over here? I know you guys know how to do lines. Oh, line, go that way. Yep.
Can I go first?
You may go first because you're first in the line.
My friend's done this, so I'm
Yeah.
a little familiar.
All right, so when you do this, okay, you're gonna take a little seed from my hand, but you're also gonna put a little finger, like make a little hole and then drop your seed in, okay? So just take like one little seed or two little seeds, and create a little hole, and you could do it in either planter, put a hole and drop your seeds in. Not a deep hole, okay, because you don't wanna bury the gifts. Wonderful. You could do it, Yep, Isaac. And then you could go off to the other side, okay? That's nice, you covered it. So
This is seed skin.
you could go off to the other side. They're the seeds. These are nice native plants. All right, you could go off to the side so that others can come through the line.
This is a seed or seed skin.
I'm sure it's a seed. Or so the seed people told me. Okay. Yes. All right, friends, keep taking seeds. Little finger, like just a little thing, and then you put the seed in. You could take two. It's okay if you get a few. And you could go to that next one too. Come, friends. Because do you know, you contribute a lot to our communities. Do you know what you bring? Play and laughter. A reminder that the future is here now and we have to tend to it. Hi, Rose. All right. Yes, now it's time for this lobelia. Is that how we say this? And lobelia likes to be a little different. So if you have already done seeds, please take a seed. And if you would like to do these purple ones, then please form a line. And this is a little different. These like to be scattered, not so planned. I think you've already done a seed. Is that right, friend? Yeah. Right, can you take a seed then, if you've already done a seed? So we're each gonna have turns. Oh, my goodness. These ones are the smallest little seeds I've ever seen. So I need actually, come over, friends, because it's hard to pick one up. We're gonna come and give a blow, okay? 1, 2, 3. These seeds things are the smallest things I've ever seen. Some seeds are small. You could look around. Here, pass those around. You can see how small they are. And I'm going to do a little scattering. All right, take a seat, my friends. Take a seat, my friends. You could pass it around. Crisscross applesauce. Okay? Take a seat, my friends. You could pass the packet and take a seat. We're going to do a little covering. My friends, take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat. Okay. Thank you for giving that shake. All right. Now, my two friends in primary colors here, in red and purple, would you water our two planters? Would you water this one, and would you water that one?
Actually, this color is blue.
Yeah, the primary colors, red and blue. I did? Okay. All right, so you could water that one over there. Okay. Yes, very good. Nice and slow, that's good. All right, and then would you water this next one? Because we want everything to grow. And so what we hope, if we take care of the contributions, that's good, given in our community, is that they will grow and we will get to enjoy the beauty of our community. And you might notice these plants over here. Let's see. Please take a seat, my friends. Anyone know what this is? Anyone who did not get told by their mother this morning? Do you know? Okay. Anyone? It is a plant. Anyone know what kind of plant? All right, yes, it is a blueberry plant. That's right. So these are going to grow blueberries because the gifts that we grow also nourish us. So we have gifts that have beauty, gifts that nourish us. And do you know what is missing? I was not skilled enough. Gifts that are not for us, but are for others. If I had the skill, I would have added some milkweed in here. So I'll just put that out there if there's a way for us to add some milkweed plants this month. I would love butterflies. Who doesn't? All right, friends, you were so wonderful that I'm going to give you this gift of the seed paper for all that you've contributed. So as you head out to your classes or go back to the pews, I invite you to take one piece of seed paper as we sing Sia Hamba, so you can plant more seeds in all the different spaces of your life. Remember, your contributions make beauty in life. All right, let us sing together. Sia Hamba.
Really? Come on. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, the sun is shining, so that's positive, right? We have the sun again. So I would like to introduce Maya Hardgrave Hernandez to share about the recent All Souls retreat.
Hello, I'm excited to announce that registration is now open on the church website for Weekend on the Bay. For those who have not been, this is an all-ages, all-church retreat from Friday, April 24th to Sunday, April 26th. It's held at the beautiful Camp Letts in Edgewater, Maryland. It is a great way to meet new people and reconnect with friends you haven't seen lately. Adults get to relax, learn, and reflect, and kids get to run, explore, and play. Last year was my first time. My favorite memory was eating s'mores at the campfire. We are excited to announce that any kids who register during the early bird period through March 22nd will be able to sign up for free. All thanks to the Religious Education Endowment. We look forward to seeing you there.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning. So I'm going to give you fair warning. You'll get properly cued when the time comes, but this part is going to be interactive, okay? All right. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Tracy Hughes. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the executive director here at All Souls. Thank you. Good morning, Eileen. I've been serving at this beautiful church for nearly 7 years now. And during the past 7 years, I never cease to be amazed at the beauty of this place. I'm amazed by the storied history of this church, this sanctuary, and most of all of the people, all of you who make up this beloved community. So here's the interactive part. Get ready to make noise with your hands, with your feet. You can stand up, you can do this, whatever you wish, all right? All right? Yeah. Thank you. All right. How many of you can agree that you keep coming back because All Souls is your comfort? Yes. Can you agree that you keep coming back because All Souls is your place for spiritual renewal? Do you keep coming back because All Souls is your place for community? And I bet it is safe to say that now more than ever, we keep coming back because All Souls represents the antidote to the chaos of our world. So, dear ones, it is imperative that our diverse, spirit-growing, justice-seeking, beloved community continue to thrive. And we need your financial support to do that, to continue to offer aid and support to our most marginalized neighbors, to continue to offer programming that supports your spiritual growth, to pay our wonderful staff, and to maintain this wonderful historic building. This is the month that we pledge our financial support to All Souls, and I'm very pleased to say that we are starting strong with over, wait for it, $300,000 to start the kickoff of our campaign today. So thank you to those of you who have pledged. Our goal for this upcoming church year is $1.4 million for our operational budget overall. So here's the thing, we know that for many of you, giving to the church may be a challenge right now. And I'm very pleased to say that we are doing our best to support you in all the ways that we can. This past year has been tough, and we understand. But just remember that no pledge is too small. Pledge as you can. Take the time to consider your level of support. There are brochures in front of you in the pews, and you can pledge online if you so choose. Remember, your pledge is your promise to give for the upcoming church year and does not have to be fulfilled today, just sometime between July 1, 2026 and June 30, 2027. So on behalf of the executive team, our wonderful staff, I want to thank you in advance for your continued support of this beautiful, beloved community. Happy Sunday.
I am Reverend Dr. Latanya Purnell. You use she, they pronouns. It is a joy to be here this morning through all the chaos that's going on, to see these wonderful faces. Thank you. Generosity is not a resource, but generosity is the spirit of compassion and presence. May this time open us gently and invite us deeper into the work of living with heart. Announcement, the Vesper will not be this Wednesday, it will be next Wednesday, March 11th. That's different from what's actually in the bulletin that you received when you walked in. Generosity is not an obligation, it's about a relationship. It's about how we sustain this community, practice gratitude, and build beloved community together. In the weeks ahead, you will hear invitations to reflect on how generosity shows up in your life. Through your time, through your care, through your voice, through your financial support of shared ministry. Generosity is not measured by size, it's measured by intent, by love, by our willingness to participate in something larger than ourselves. And one of the most sacred ways of generosity lives among us is how we show up for one another, especially in moments of grief, transition, and tender change. Virginia View's older sister, Dorothy Oden, died this week, just shy of her 100th birthday. What a life well lived. That's beautiful. Tyler Dewey's grandmother, Janine DuPont Elliott, also passed away this Monday. She loved the ocean, vacuuming, and playing cards over cheap bottles of white wine. She's got my heart. She's a loving mother and dedicated Catholic, and she asked for forgiveness even at the end of her life. Also, we have another announcement of gratitude for a healing of surgery. Last Monday, while many of us were navigating the latest DMV snowstorm, Marnice Pastor was having a successful shoulder replacement surgery. Marnice and her husband, Jen, wished to thank the surgical team at Johns Hopkins for their skillful hands, and thank their friends here at All Souls for well wishes and meals delivered. They reported that the fridge is full to capacity. Marnice will soon begin learning how to use her left arm again, nearly from scratch. So she's relearning how to use her arm. After having had her other shoulder replaced 3 years ago, Marnice says, it always helps to have successfully met a similar challenge in the past. So prayers for Marnice. As a congregation, we're grounded in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We are deeply troubled by the recent military strikes in Iran and suffering that brings to civilians and communities. We mourn all lives lost and at risk, Iranians, Americans, and across the region. War does not safeguard human dignity. It endangers it. It widens fear, deepens grief, and fractures the human family. In this moment, we call for resistance, de-escalation, and renewed commitment to democracy and peace. Yet, even in this time of global conflict, we are not powerless. One of the most powerful forms of generosity is presence. When the world feels unstable, generosity is not about what we give materially, it's about how we show up, how we hold our hearts, those navigating illness, grief, and uncertainty. We celebrate those expecting joys and renewal. In every season, especially in the season of fear, we are called to meet one another with compassion and care. If you are carrying something heavy, you are not alone. If you can offer care, your presence matters. This is how we resist despair. This is how we practice peace. This is how we live our faith together. Please join me in prayer. Spirit of life and love, open our hearts in this tender and troubled time. As violence unfolds in Iran and fear ripples across the nation and communities, steady us. We mourn the lives at risk, suffering carried by civilians, families, and all who long for peace. Where fear whispers scarcity, plant trust. Where we hold tightly to uncertainty or anger, teach us to release. Where we feel weary in the face of war and division, renew our capacity to care. In a world shaped by conflict, we may choose another way. We may choose generosity with our resources, with our attention, with our courage, with our love. May our shared life reflect the possibility of a beloved community, a community that resists violence, embattles compassion, and trusts that peace is still possible. In the spirit of our shared faith, let us continue our prayer in song. Amen, and may it be so.
It's good to be together again this morning. Welcome to this beloved community where it is easier to carry all that we hold in our hearts. Last night, as my family sat down for dinner, we paused to name the violence and the bombing that was happening in Iran, and to recognize before we proceed with whatever connection and gratitude we experience around our table, to recognize the loss of human life, and that our country was committing acts of war without congressional approval, and the world was a little less safe. Each week, when I read the connection cards, people share with me how coming to All Souls that day has helped them. It is a place of refuge, and it is a place of strengthening as they go into the next week. And so welcome to this space, and welcome to this beloved community. Last weekend, I went to New York City for the memorial service of the mother of my childhood best friend, a woman who I'd known for 41 years, who I had had countless dinners with, spent weekends with, had gone on family vacations with, and who I learned about 3 weeks ago had died. My friend was an only child, and now, since her father passed 5 years ago, I keep on thinking of she was an only child, and now she's an orphan. She's gone from 3 to 1. And so for the 2 weeks prior to the service, I was preoccupied. I kept thinking about my friend, the orphan. And I'll tell you, I'm a minister, and yet I was struck by the inadequacy of words offered to a beloved long distance. It just wasn't showing up enough for how I wanted to show up. And so I began to think about that gap, and a question came to me. Into what, into whose care could she trust her grief and loss? And it was then that I remembered what always holds me, what allows me to release my sorrows, grief, and rage enough. And the answer is nature. I could always trust this beautiful world to hold me. I could always release myself to it. And so I offered that to my friend. I offered her The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. Let me read it for you again. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life or my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. I hope we all discover in this sanctuary that we could come into the peace of other wild things with wild hearts and dreams, and can rest in the grace of this community, and for a time experience what it feels like to be free. I also remembered that nature does not just hold me when I'm tender and broken and soft. It also inspires me and gives me hope. It models for me how to live and organize and form community in sustainable and mutual ways. In other words, nature is a good model for how to do our work of stewardship in our congregation. And so I want to share with you that there is a question that lives underneath this season of stewardship for us. And the question is not, what will you pledge? Though we ask that you put that on the card. And not just, can we meet our budget, though we're going to have several meetings on that. But no, this is sacred work. And so the question is, what kind of economy do we want to belong to? The market economy tells us that value is measured in scarcity, that enough is never quite enough, that security only comes through holding and hoarding tightly. But the natural world tells a different story. In her beautiful work, Braiding Sweetgrass, Robin Wall Kimmerer writes about what she calls the economy of the gift. She contrasts it with the market economy. In the gift economy, wealth is measured not by accumulation, but by circulation. A berry bush does not withhold its fruit to increase its worth. It produces in abundance, and then the berries are given to birds, to bears, to us humans. And in the gifting, the seeds are spread. Life continues. The gift is not a transaction. It is participation in the ongoing flourishing of the whole. And if you pay attention, you'll see that nature is structured around mutuality. Kimmerer writes, forest ecologists hypothesize that mass fruiting, like the big bursting forth of large crops of fruit, is the simple outcome of an energetic equation. Make fruit only when you can afford it. That makes sense. But trees grow and accumulate calories at different rates depending on their habitats. So the trees that were lucky enough to have fertile farmland, the ones who are in that fertile land, grow rich often and fruit often, while their shaded neighbors often struggle and only rarely reach to a point of abundance, sometimes waiting for years to reproduce. But if that were true, each tree would fruit on its own schedule, predictable by the size of its reserves of stored starch. But trees don't. If one tree fruits, they all fruit. There are no soloists. Not one tree in a grove, but the whole grove. Not one grove in the forest, but every grove. All across the county and all across the state, trees act not as individuals, but somehow as a collective. Exactly how they do this, we don't know yet. But what we could see is the power of unity. What happens to one happens to us all. We can starve together or feast together. All flourishing is mutual. No being survives alone. Resilience in nature is not rugged individualism, it is interdependence. Kimmerer and her people hold that nature, and particularly trees, are models for them. And so she continues to write, we have always known that the plants and animals have their own counsels and a common language. The trees especially we recognize as our teachers. And the message from the pecan trees and their counsel was this: stick together, act as one. We pecans have learned that there is strength in unity, that the lone individual can be picked off as easily as the tree that is fruited out of season. And I will tell you that truth feels especially urgent right now. I want to remind you, and not everyone comes every Sunday, about things that I learned from my trip to Minneapolis during the recent metro surge by raids by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Patrol. During that time, fear moved quickly through immigrant communities. Families stayed home for work. Parents kept children out of school. And this meant sometimes they were not earning the money that they needed to pay their rent or to buy their groceries. And rumors were spreading faster than facts, and the atmosphere was brittle and uncertain and ones of fear. But let's look at what happened next. Mutual aid networks activated almost immediately. Neighbors began texting each other about sightings and to convey when there was safety and less safety. Churches opened their buildings as gathering points. Volunteers organized childcare for families afraid to leave their homes. Food was delivered. Doors that had been broken down by ice were repaired. Legal hotlines were shared in multiple languages. People accompanied each other to court dates. Some stood physically present outside homes and businesses, not to escalate, but to bear witness. This rapid response would happen so quickly. So if they would see that an ICE raid had taken place, they would go and see what that household then needed. In one circumstance, they discovered a newborn baby left alone. The mother was taken, and there was no even formula in that house. They do a constant 24 presence outside the detention center because they could see that people were released from it, which is a good thing, at any time of day in the state that they were taken, which included being in shorts or pajamas, barefoot or in flip-flops in negative 16-degree weather. And so volunteers stood outside with warm clothes and food so that that moment could be met. That is the root network of a city that knows what it means to be interdependent. It is what resilience looks like in our human form. And I'll tell you, no organization orchestrated it all. It was decentralized, it was relational, it was trust-based. People were responding because they understood that survival is shared. Kimmerer writes, fungal networks appear to redistribute the wealth of carbohydrates from tree to tree, a kind of Robin Hood. They take from the rich and give to the poor, so that all trees arrive at the same carbon surplus at the same time. They weave a web of reciprocity, of giving and taking. In this way, the trees all act as one because the fungi have connected them through unity, survival. And the abundance, it matters. Kimmerer learned this lesson through her great-grandfather. His family had been forced from their native land and to lands that they were less familiar with. Their children, who were disconnected from the surplus of food and harvest and gathering and hunting that they knew, would often begin to starve. And it was then that the government agents would come and say, if you give us your children for the boarding homes, they will be fed. Her great-grandfather was out one day. He'd been sent to check on the fishing lines at a creek some miles away. He and his brother spent all day there, and never did the line twitch. It was getting late, and so they were headed home when they were going, and they stubbed their toes, something hard that they ran into. And they looked down, and it was one of those mass fruitings Pecans, large balls, had fallen, and everywhere they looked were these nutrient-rich foods. And they were sort of like carrying tennis balls. You would try to pick up some, but the more you pick up, then you drop three. You pick up one and you drop three. And so they did what they could, which is they untied the twine of their belts and took off their pants and used the twine to tie the legs, filled up those pants, tied the pants, and ran carrying that awkward-looking parcel as they ran home in their underwear. But maybe it was a good pecan year that saved off the agents for one more season. The threat of being taken away would surely make a small boy run home half naked, his pants stuffed with food. And yet nature provided. Abundance is also survival. And friends, that's what church is like. It's not just what happens in our sanctuary for an hour and 20 minutes each Sunday, as glorious as our time together always is. It is the web. It is the calls and the meals and the vigils. It's the quiet financial support that we provide when members call us saying that they can't afford their rent that month or need to repair their cars. It's the building that can be open when needed. It's the members, bless you, who know how to coordinate care. And it's the years of trust that make quick response possible. Thank you for developing that trust with one another. Because you cannot build that web overnight. It is cultivated and tended, and it is funded. Kimmerer writes that in a gift economy, you do not ask, what do I get? You ask, what is mine to give? The question is not whether we participate in economy. The question is, which economy do we seek to participate in? In the market economy, giving feels like loss. In the gift economy, giving is what ensures that there will be more. Think about the seed that you will receive today. A seed is a paradox. It is small, it looks insignificant, it disappears into the soil. If you judged it by appearance alone, you will underestimate its power. But a seed carries memory and future at once. It carries instructions. It carries resilience encoded over generations. It carries capacity for fruit that will carry more seeds in their own time. And yet it must be released. It cannot cling to its seediness. It must become a plant. In times like these, when the world is scary and some of our futures are uncertain, we could be tempted to contract, to hold tightly, to reduce our commitments until the world feels safer. But here is what I know, pastorally, spiritually, and practically. Communities do not become resilient by shrinking. They become resilient by deepening. The reason Minneapolis could respond with mutual aid so quickly is because the networks already existed, trust existed, infrastructure existed. Resilience is built in the seasons of relative calm that are available around the seasons of storm. And let's be honest, we are not in a season of calm nationally. Many of our communities we care about are under pressure, and harm can be swift. In that landscape, a well-maintained and accessible congregation is not a luxury. It is the infrastructure for moral courage. This building is not just brick and stone. It is shelter. It is meeting space. It is the rehearsal hall for justice. It is sanctuary in the truest sense of the word. But buildings don't sustain themselves, and staff don't pay themselves, and programs do not appear by magic, though they are magical in what they do. Kimmerer speaks of the honorable harvest, a set of principles for taking from the earth responsibly. Take only what you need, never take first, never take the last, use everything you take, give a gift in return. So what if we practice this honorable harvest here? We receive and we give. The invitation is simple. If you feel like you receive from this community, give a gift in return, because you are a part of the ecosystem. This is not about equal giving. Forests are not equal. Some trees are large and established, and some are saplings. Some are in the shade, and some are in the sun, but all participate. So the question is not, can I give as much as someone else? The question is, am I participating in the circulation of life? Your pledge is a seed, and seeds do a remarkable thing. They transform anxiety into hope. So I invite you to be part of the hopeful future of our congregation and to fund it, to fund our capacity to meet this moment. For this is how resistance becomes sustainable, how courage becomes embodied, how love becomes organized. Because one day, and I promise you this, someone will look back and say, this congregation was ready. This congregation had roots. This congregation had built the network before the storm fully came. And that readiness will not happen by accident. It will happen because in this moment, we chose a gift economy, because we trusted that abundance flows through us when we allow it to, and because we understand that resilience is mutual, and we planted what sustains us. May it be so, and amen.
Good morning. I'm Susan Milner, and I use the pronouns she, her, and this is Chris, and he uses he, him pronouns. And we're thrilled to help kick off this year's annual pledge drive.
We've been attending this church for a long time. We started out as newlywed 20-somethings, and then we were young parents with young children in the nursery, and we raised our 3 kids in this congregation. And now they are young adult UUs in their own right. Along the way, the church has had many roles in our lives. Susan, what does this church mean to you at this stage?
For me, the church helps keep me grounded. When the news is frightening, I use what I learn here to focus on what I can do and to stay connected to others. And it keeps me from becoming hopeless and bitter about the current state of the world. And sometimes, many times, it allows me to find joy.
I remember one of the first things we did as volunteers, probably 1999 or 2000, was keying in pledge payments into the database. This was my first glimpse into the whole pledging system that we have here. I came to understand that the church relies on our pledges to fund almost all of its expenses. Sorry to break it to everyone, but no, tariffs paid by foreign countries are not funding this church.
And neither is some rich person going to swoop down and offer to pay for all of us to have all of this. So when we first started out, we thought, let's just divide the budget by the number of members and then tell me what I owe.
But we soon realized that it doesn't work that way. It's not like a pool membership or a Netflix subscription where they tell us what we pay. It's the other way around. It's all of us deciding what we want to pledge and give, and then all of us, through our board, deciding what we'll do with it. So talk a little bit about how we decide how much to pledge.
Well, we've thought about giving until it hurts, to give an amount that is noticeable to us at a level that affects our ability to do other things. It's a way to remind us that our church community is one of our family's biggest priorities and keeps the focus on that priority year-round.
I remember Rob Hardy's once explained that we give until it hurts, and then we give until it feels good. And we've experienced that. We give an amount that's meaningful and material within our budget. We give an amount that makes our relationship with our church community feel strong to us, and our relationship with all of you feel strong to us. And it feels good. In fact, our pledge has increased more than 20-fold since we signed up, since we started pledging. And this year we signed up for another increase. Our vision for the church is that it's thriving and growing. And as we enter our third century as a church, we envision All Souls as an ever stronger force for love and justice and beloved community for our congregation and for our neighborhood and for our world.
We know that connections between people are the best resistance against authoritarianism, and we want All Souls to be a stronger supporter of our collective values through our programs and our physical spaces, and just encouraging people to make new connections and grow them.
So please, take that next step in your relationship with All Souls. Get involved or get more involved. Please join me and Susan in deepening your involvement, and if you can, increasing your pledge. And if you can, increasing your pledge a lot. Give till it feels good. Trust us, you'll be glad you did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm thinking of the metaphor of the seeds and giving till it hurts. It must be like bending over until your back gives out, right? I'd now like to draw your attention back to the connection card and this week's question. What seeds of generosity, resilience, or courage are you being called to plant this year, and what might grow if we plant them together? As the music plays, you're invited to contemplate and reflect on how you would answer this question. You can also use the time to complete both sides of the card, and since Chris and Susan have just inspired you, you can also begin to fill out your pledge card. Thank you. Thank you. This month, we are sharing 50% of our non-pledge plate offerings with the Festival Center. For over 30 years, the Festival Center has served as a hub for activists, artists, people of faith and no faith, seekers, and mission-driven groups. The center is home to numerous organizations, a relentless supporter of social justice organizing, and a close partner of All Souls on many projects. www.festivalcenter.org. We encourage you to give generously to them, as well as to support the ongoing mission and ministries of All Souls. And speaking of generosity, sowing seeds and then reaping the harvest, the song you'll now hear from the Jubilee Singers comes from an item at our auction last fall, where David Jackson successfully bid and won the choice of one of his favorite songs to be sung at a service by Jubilee Singers. So here it is, Lord Help Me to Hold Out.
Oh
If you feel you have made a pledge to All Souls, you are invited to join the Pledge Processional. There is not just one person or a small group of people or even a large group of people who sustain our community. That is the joyous responsibility that falls to all of us. To show how collectively powerful our contributions are, we now invite you to be part of the Pledge Processional. If you've made a pledge, come show it. If you're online, we invite you to turn on your camera and hold up a paper that says, "I support All Souls with my pledge," or write that in the chat. You can also just raise your hand or put up a heart. Tech team, can you now bring our online folks onto our screen?
Oh.
No.
No.
No worries. We can imagine what it looks like. Thank you anyway. Now, if you're here in the sanctuary, I invite you to bring up your card to Reverend Anastasia or to an usher located near you. Ushers, can you give us a big wave so they know where you are? Please help anyone who has mobility issues. When you submit your pledge in paper here or online, you are invited to come and pick up a seed paper. Let us remember that what we receive from All Souls helps us plant many gardens in many places. May our pledge processional now begin.
And I'll let you take this. Beloveds, thank you for planting and sustaining and harvesting from our beautiful garden, this place of sanctuary and rebirth, a reminder that life is interdependent, a place where we can put deep roots in the ground and rise towards the glory of the sun. May you go full of all the joys that you've received here. Blessed be.
All souls, get on board now. People all over the world don't need the money. Just get on board. You don't need a ticket. Just get on board. Got a love train. People with money. Just get on board. Join this train, y'all. Get on board. You need the money. Just get on board.